Hey, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so I had said in my prior message to the Jumping Fridge group that I would be sending an audio tutorial, and I will again provide you with this tutorial. This is another in a series of tutorials. I did first want to make an announcement. Unfortunately, because of the way that Wasapi is handling streaming with ZDSR and narrator, there are some tutorials I will not be able to do. I will be trying some tutorials with JAWS at some point. I know Goldwave can do them. Of course, also though, let's just be aware I'm not using my mixer, because if I had been, I probably wouldn't even need the audio capture. So then we wouldn't have the problem we're having now. All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to walk you through now the procedure on how to use the VoiceBox AI TTS Converter app. I am going to be using a different speech synthesizer than some of you guys may be familiar with, so I will guide you through what it says. For the purposes of this, I'm going to be running the WinTalker speech add-on, which can be found by going to https://datajake.braillescreen.net, datajake.braillescreen.net. Go to the TTS section, go to synthesizers for NVDA, and you will see WinTalker in that area. So I'm going to switch to that synth now so that we can proceed.
Virtual recorder.
Okay, so anyway, now we're in Virtual Recorder, which is where the app that I use to record most of my tutorials with. I'm going to go to my desktop, and once I do this, I'm going to then go and I'm going to go and launch VoiceBox, and I'll show you how this works.
Desktop list. Virtual recorder.
Okay, now I have the pauses maxed out. Some of you that may get this add-on may choose to set the pause length. I didn't originally decide to include this in the tutorial, but because I am using a synth that does support the option of pause length adjustments, let me quickly show you how to set that in case you need a faster flow of speech. And in fact, I might even temporarily set it on mine, just so that way that the speech flows faster. So NVDA Control V is in victory. Will bring us to the voice settings.
NVDA settings.
And I'm going to hit now I hit the control key to silence it. You'll be in the voice settings dialog. I'm going to hit the tab key multiple times really quickly until I hear there's a certain thing I'm looking for here. And it's going to be called pause length.
Check voice rate input volume pause length. Slider 100 out L.
Okay, pause length. So I'm going to set this to 0. Now I'm going to press enter.
Desktop list. Virtual recorder.
There we go. Now we've got a faster flow of speech, which I don't personally prefer this setting, but I'm using this setting for the purposes of tutorial purposes. All right, so and by the way, most of my tutorials will either be using this voice, Microsoft TTS, Deck Talk, Best Speech or Eloquence, or Orpheus. So I will at times do round robins with different synthesizers when we do these tutorials. We're going to hit V until we hear VoiceBox.
VMware Workstation VoiceBox. Virtual recorder. VMware Workstation Pro. VoiceBox.
VoiceBox. It says VoiceBox, but that actually is VoiceBox. It's VoiceBox is one word. Press enter.
VoiceBox document C. Windows System 13. Pane. VoiceBox document. VoiceBox.
Okay. What has occurred, just for your knowledge, is that as this program has launched, the reason you heard pain, 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 pain was due to the fact that it was loading little messages on screen. Well, as those messages came to be, they disappeared fairly quickly, and it presented itself with a web page. A lot of apps that are AI-based TTS use a web server. So this is where we get to use whatever we want here. I'm now going to hit the tab key. Actually, I'm going to hit the down arrow key is what I'm going to do here.
Visit same page link, current page generate.
So we have generate,
Link stories.
visited
link voices.
Any page you've joined is going to be visited. So that's why you're hearing visited link on some of these. I've already visited these tabs.
Link effects.
Link
audio. Visited link models.
And models.
Visited link settings. V0.3 heading level 2 VoiceBox. Button import voice. Button create voice. Toggle button press to OS and selected as voice for generation. Button sample from OS 137 3 days ago. Press enter to play. Toggle button press to OS and selected as voice for generation. Button create voice. Toggle button sample from OS 126 3 days ago. Press enter button sample from OS 137 3 days ago. Press enter toggle button sample from OS 145 button sample from OS 147 button sample from OS 145 button sample from OS 152 3 days button sample from OS 026.
So these are all different samples. Let's find a sample first of all. And let's just hit
button sample from OS 1 button sample from OS 026.
Let's press enter on this one.
Oh yeah, all you have to do is install it, and if you have the requirements, it will start. You do if you've gotten Chatterbox to run. So what you'll do is in the app, it will load and show little messages. Then you'll be placed in a web content area. The first thing you'll want to do is download models. I use Whisper for transcription and Quend TTS 1.7b for speech. You should see those in the model lists for both transcription and generation.
Sample from OS 026 3 days ago.
Okay, actually, that's actually a very, very important piece of information that I'm now going to explain that was just given there, and it's from a piece of text that was sent to me in a Telegram message, and I pasted it here for the purposes of reading that. So you do have to go to the Models tab to download models, and I'm going to show you. Now, all of my models are downloaded. So you'll notice that because they're all downloaded, they are going to they're going to be easy to work. Let's go to the very top of
VoiceBox.
To the top of this to VoiceBox. Now I'm going to hit the letter V because models is already visited in my links. So I'm going to hit V until I hear visited link models.
Generate visited voices, visited models, visited link.
Because before we can create a voice, we must first create a model. Alright, so we're going to create another voice in a minute.
Visited link models.
But let's start with the Models tab, and let's go there and see what we get.
Models visited same page link, current page.
Alright, so it also then switches and says Models visited same page link, current page. So now what we have the option of doing is I can actually hit the letter H for headings, which I'm going to do now.
Models heading level 1.
And we have models. Now, let's go down and see what we have here.
Download and manage AI models for voice generation and transcription.
We have two different model types that we have to work with, first of all. And I said have to, not have to, for the simple reason that before we can use this app, we have to download a model to use for the text generation. Then we have to download a series or a model for text transcription. So let's show you how that works. I'm going to hit a down arrow.
Storage location.
See,
user's PC cache hooking this up.
Okay, I'm going to go down.
Button open. Button change. Heading level 2 voice GENERATION. Button 1 TTSONE period 7B.
Okay, so 1.7B for TTS generation. Now we have
Button 4.23 GB. Button 1 TTS0 period 6B. Button 2.34 GB. Button Lux TTS fast. CPU friendly. Button 1.10 GB. Button Chatterbox TTS multilingual. Button 5.96 GB. Button Chatterbox Turbo English tags. Button 3.77 GB. Heading level 2 TRANSCRIPTION.
Now I apologize because
RANSCRIPTION.
some things are written with the titles of each heading in all caps. So that's why Windtalker is spelling the word transcription for us. Let's go down.
But whisper bass.
Now we have whisper bass.
But whisper small.
Whisper small.
But whisper medium.
Whisper medium.
But whisper large.
Whisper large.
But 2.88 GB. But whisper turbo. Blank. But play.
And whisper turbo.
Blank. Playback 0 loop.
Let me
But close player. Blank.
go to the bottom. I closed the player. At the very bottom is your audio player for whatever was just generated. So now we've explored that. Now, if you want to download a model, you'll press enter on it, and there will be a download button within there. You just hit your B, your standard web navigation commands. We'll get you there. Now we're going to create a voice, and we're going to call him Art. And then we're going to look at how to change voices and make sure that we have the requisite amount of text here. We're gonna create Art's voice, but remember we're only allowed 30 seconds of audio, depending on the model that we are choosing to use. So it really depends on what we're doing and how we're doing it. That tells us, and so that is one thing I will tell you, that VoiceBox is a bit different than an app like the Chatterbox web application. In a future tutorial, I will explain how to use Chatterbox directly, because we do have a direct access to Chatterbox. So I'll walk you through that process as well. By the way, if you do not have a token for Chatterbox, you will need one through Hugging Face. I won't be able to demonstrate that part, but if someone else happens to be able to, that'll be awesome. Meanwhile, let's go to the voices page. Let's create a voice. Let's create Art here.
Gen voices visit link.
Let's go to voices now.
Voices current page. Same page. Current page.
All right, voices, same page, current page. Thank you. Now I'm going to hit the letter H again, this time.
Voices heading level 1.
And we're going to see some things because I've already got a voice here.
Search voices. Edit.
Search voices, edit.
But new voice.
New voice.
Table with 2 rows and 7 columns. Name. Language. Generation. Samples. Effects. Channels. Blank. OS. Automated weather observation system. N. 10. 1. Menu button. Calypso submenu. Select channels. Blank. Out of table button. Name. Edit OS. Description. Edit multi-line automated weather observation. Out of edit language. Combo box. Calypso opens list English. Default effects. Applied automatically to new generations with this voice. Combo box. Calypso opens list load preset. Combo box. Calypso opens list add effect. Wind 160 edit button delete sample button edit transcription button delete 1 button play sample sliders 0 button adds note a future length. Future update samples might be interchangeable and tagged for varying styles of the same voice. Button adds a note a single button add sample. Note, a single 30-second sample is the sweet spot. Quality may decrease with multiple samples. In a future update, samples might be interchangeable and tagged for varying styles of the same voice.
Okay, so you can add samples. So I could literally make an additional sample, but it might decrease the quality. Now, there's a reason that warning was handed down, just so you're aware. The reason for that warning is because it is altogether possible that if we were to add a sample, if the quality differs in each sample, and each sample happens to use differing voice clarity, you will run into the issue that as a result, you're going to have voice that sounds a little bit off. So we don't really prefer that when we do samples. I generally tell people use one sample unless you absolutely have to. We're going to use a sample for the art voice from one of the AccuVoice from the voice called Art for AccuVoice. Or actually, in the Phonics called it Roger.
Future of blank. All
right, so let's go. I'm going to hit Shift B until I hear new voice.
Add stop play delete edit button. Table with new voice button.
New voice.
New voice epochs web content region. Clone voice dialog. Create a new voice profile with an audio sample to clone the voice. Record property page. Start recording button. Click to start recording. Maximum duration 30 seconds. Clone voice dialog.
So I could make a sample of my voice that literally says something like, I don't know, this is a random test of what I'm speaking about. And I must have extreme clarity to every sample that I use. I can pause, I can, speak non-stop, however I want the voice to sound. But I must remember when creating a voice sample that it is very important because what I say and how I say it will determine if the sample is curated properly. So what I want you to really, really be aware of when making a voice is you actually need to know sorry for the long pause for you guys and on the purpose of the recording. I kind of picked a bad time to start recording as it is closer to time to my I am a person who requires beta blockers for both his heart and blood pressure. So, okay, so let's go into the tabs. Now, I'm not going to use the record tab, although I'll explain it real quick.
Start recording button.
Start recording. Now, you might wonder, well, what's important about this box? There's start recording.
Reference text edit multi-line. Enter the exact text spoken in the audio blank.
So you can type the text in, or you can use the transcriber to have it transcribed. So if you prefer to write the text out by hand, and how you generate that may actually affect how the sample is spoken. How the sample comes out that's my guess. We'll do some experimenting at some point. We'll see if my theory's correct. I'll try one at one point, and I'll make a couple recordings. So there's a button here, so you can actually attach an image visually of the voice that you can see on screen. That's unlabeled.
Name edit my voice blank. Has autocomplete.
Name edit. And now, by the way, some of these controls will be here no matter what tab is selected. Name is the name that you will give the voice.
Description optional. Edit multi-line. Describe this voice blank.
You do not have to describe this voice because it may be self-descriptive. But that's why, for example, we have that's why, for example, you'll notice when I hit the tab key, for example,
language combo box English Calypso opens list.
Now, I need to point something out. What language you pick for the voice will determine its baseline language. That may, in fact, also tell it what accent you might be getting if you do try to have it speak other text. So we have, for example,
list, English, Greek, not select, German, Danish, Arab. Danger creates fit rep heat and attack jap curry now Dutch no Polish no Dutch Malay not selected curry jap attack Hindi not Hebrew not French not so Finnish not Spanish English. Language cancel.
1 second. As I'm recording this still. All right, so
create profile button.
Hit the tab key.
Close button. Tab control. Record system audio. Record tab selected. Upload tab. System audio tab. Upload tab select.
Upload tab.
Upload property page. Choose file button. Click to choose a file or drag and drop. Maximum duration 30.
So
choose file button. Click to choose a file or drag and drop. Maximum duration 30 seconds.
Right, so
choose file button. Click to choose a file or drag and drop. Maximum duration 30 seconds. Button.
Okay, so
choose file button. Click to choose a file or drag and drop. Maximum duration 30 seconds. Button.
Okay, by the way, you'll notice it tells us what the max duration is it allows. It says max duration 30 seconds. I apologize, by the way, for the repeats, but I was also, as obviously is the case when I'm recording, there sometimes can be occasional interruptions that do happen from people liking to call our phones at late hours of the night, so they were trying to check in on, we were trying to deal with that at the same time. And by the way, those here at the household, you never know when they might have a tutorial. We'll see if any of them want to help me do a Stardew Valley access tutorial. And so you'll be hearing from Haley at some point on how to do Stardew. We'll work with one of my farms on her computer, or if you want to learn how to start the game or create a whole new profile and do all the things you want to do. All right, so enough of the. Let's hit the space bar now on this box.
Open dialog file name.
So, open dialog file name. Now, I'm going to shift tab. And I'm going to backspace at least 4 times here so I can get back into my desktop. I know that the file I want is in a drive called My Passport, so we're going to go there.
My Passport E.
Okay, My Passport E. Now I'm going to type NWS because that's where this particular file is located.
NWS files.
NWS files, so I'm going to press enter.
Items. ArtWav.
ArtWav. So, this isn't the greatest sample because it's only very short, 2 sentences. But we're going to use art for our voice. So I'm press enter.
Pane. VoiceBox document. Clone voice dialog. Create a new voice profile with an audio sample to clone the voice.
Okay, so now I'm going to hit tab.
Tab control. Upload tab. Upload property page file. Upload file. Uploaded file. ArtWav play button. Transcribe button. Remove button. Tab control. Upload property page file. Uploaded file. Button file. Art button play.
There's a button that says play. This confirms, is this the audio file that we want?
A slow-moving storm system will move across the northern Great Lakes region today and tonight. Snow associated with this system will continue across much of southwest lower Michigan this morning.
Play.
Okay, so we played the sample. And you'll notice that speech said pause, and then the button changed back to a play button. So press a down arrow.
Button transcribe.
And I know what the text is. I could write it out by hand, but for the purposes of the demonstration, I'm going to show you how Whisper transcribes what's being spoken. Remember, Whisper is our text transcriber. If you'll recall from the audio sample we played earlier, we were told that Whisper is used when we want to transcribe audio. So I'm going to now press a space bar.
Transcribing. Unavailable. Dialog clone voice.
So I'm going to give this a few seconds to transcribe, and I'm going to explain, while it's transcribing, a couple of rules about text.
Notification whisper base connecting to download.
Okay, so I chose Whisper Large the last time, and Whisper Large was already there, but it chose to use Whisper Base for whatever reason might be difficult to explain. But it is downloading, and Whisper Base does not require a lot, but due to the and by the way, I do believe you can change which transcriber it uses by default. So if you'd prefer it to use Whisper Large, then it will use that particular transcriber. So what we're going to do now is still give it a couple of seconds. There's a couple of rules about creating voices that I'd like to make you aware of if you're going to create voices for this type of app. Rule number 1, if you want it to work properly with multiple voice models, make sure that your recording is clear, clean, and sounds good. Now what you can do is make a file with a couple of samples. As I said before, there is an issue, as the note says at the very bottom, with sometimes quality being degraded. What, however, that does depend on is the TTS model used. If you use Quen TTS, you'll likely not have that result, but you may have that result if you're using something like Chatterbox or Lux TTS. And we'll talk about the different models here in just a minute. Let's hit the tab key.
Clone voice dialog. Create a new voice profile with an audio sample to clone the voice. Button transcribe. Remove button. Reference text edit blank. Blank. Out button transcribe. Button play. Button file upload. Button play. Button transcribe.
Now I'm gonna hit transcribe.
Transcribing unavailable. Clone voice.
Did not transcribe for some reason. If this doesn't transcribe the second time, we'll actually write the text. But the way that I'm going to do it will help us with the text. We may not need it to do anything spectacular here. All right, so let's actually talk a little bit about now how we're going to go about this. Okay? And to do that, I want to do a couple of things now that will help us in the long run. The first thing I want to do is explain, why do you need the text to be there for a voice creation in VoiceBox? This tells the voice model creator how you want to create the voice. Now, there are voices you can import if you've used other platforms like Chatterbox, because those models may exist. So you can go in and add them to your voices that you already have, if you prefer to have voices with more samples or maybe better quality that were designed. So you might be able to import those as necessary. So if you have, later on when we do the Chatterbox tutorial, again, I won't be walking you through the Hugging Face part of that, but I will guide you through the process of how to use the app, how to create a voice, then how to use that voice if you want to use it. What we're going to do now is we're going to proceed to hit the tab key.
Tab control. Upload tabs. Upload crop. File play. Remove but reference text. Reach into a slow.
Now, the model has been downloaded. So let's see if the transcriber got the text right. I'm going to go to the top with Control Home.
A slow move.
And now we're going to do a say all. If you're on a laptop keyboard, by reminder that is caps lock key plus A. And on a desktop keyboard, your say all command is insert plus the physical down arrow on the inverted T to the left of your number pad. So I'll do insert down arrow, and this is what we should hear.
A slow-moving storm system will move across the northern Great Lakes region today and tonight. Snow associated with this system will continue across much of southwest lower Michigan this morning.
Now, what I'm going to do, because it transcribed it exactly the way the synthesizer pronounced it, which is okay, but I don't know if I care to have that pronunciation the way I want it, right? So I'm going to show you the process. Now, I personally will not modify this, but I'm going to show you that as if I was the person who didn't want that to sound like that. Let's do a control home, and let's look at actually how that's written in context.
A slow moving.
And I'm going to do control right arrow to move from word by word.
Slow dash moving storm system will move across the northern Great Lakes region today and tonight.
So let's explain what happened there.
O-T space T-W-O space N-I-G-H-T.
So it actually wrote the word 2 as in the number 2 based on the way the synthesizer that we are cloning sounded. So if I wanted, I could theoretically use that as sort of my option point here. Let's actually attempt to show you. You could select the words to space day and type over it with the words today, which would overwrite the prior text selected, by the way. Remember, I've heard a lot of people ask if that's possible in editing. Yes, that is called overwrite. That is basically right over the prior text I selected. But I'm going to keep it exactly as is, and here's why. How the synthesizer pronounced things is important in how the clone sounds. By modifying the words today and tonight to be today and tonight, the AI may trip out because it's looking at that transcription to try to figure out how the voice is going to be generated. So we're going to press a tab key here.
Button.
And we're going to tab again.
Name edit has autocomplete my voice blank.
The name, by the way, I hit the sneeze button here. That's why, so if you didn't hear me for a second, is going to be, we're going to call it art. Let's turn our character echo on here.
Speak type characters only in edit controls.
Now, I'm not going to write the name art capitalized for the reason of the synthesizer here.
Suggested always press T-R-T, art, R-A-R-T.
Okay, there's art.
Description optional. Edit multi-line describe this voice blank. Space V-O-I-C-E space T-E-S-T-E-D space D-U-R-I-G space A space T-I-E S space V-O-I-C-E-S-N and W-E space T-E-F-T-E W-E-A-T-E-S-O dot. A voice tested during a time when voices were tested for weather radio.
Okay, that's all right. We're just going to make...
New notification.
And I'm going to hit the tab key here.
Language combo box English Calypso opens list.
Now, this is where we can set the base language. Now, I should remind you, it would not be a good idea to base the language of the voice on a language it is not speaking. This can and occasionally does confuse the AI with regard to what it is looking for in a language. So we're going to take a peek here. I'm going to hit the tab key.
Cancel button.
Okay, cancel.
Create profile button.
And hit create profile. When I hit create profile, the voice will be created. We already have the text transcribed. We've already got all the other details. So let's hit create profile.
Clone voice. Notification profile created art has been created with a sample.
Now, if I wanted to add a sample, I could. But I will not. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, or rather now go to the generation tab after I have, now that I've created the voice. Actually, let's go.
Voice. Generate visited link.
I'll show you generate, but let's see what the stories tabs looks like.
Link stories. Stories link. Visited same page. Current page.
And let's hit H for heading.
Stories add but new story. No stories yet. Create your first story to get started. Select a story. Choose a story. Generate speech using a voice. Edit multi-line. Out of edit button. Generate speech. Generate combo box. Collapsed opens list of voice. But also create no stories but new story.
So we'll explain
voice.
Stories here in a minute. Believe with stories you can actually have more than one speaker. Meaning you can have two speakers or more. As a matter of fact, and I'll see if I can get my friend who helped me get this app to explain the process of how this works. We're going to hit the down arrow key.
Visited link, visited same page, visited link, generate.
Generate. Now,
generate, same page, current.
Same page in this case means that because we're on this thing, so now I'm going to hit down arrow.
Visited V0.30.
V0.30. That's the version of VoiceBox we are currently running. I'm going to go to the first combo box because, or I'm going to hit the B for button actually.
Import voice, create voice art, and select as voice for generation. Toggle but not pressed.
Okay. And if I go down.
Toggle button pressed to voice and toggle but not art and selected as voice for generation. Press. Toggle but not pressed to voice and select as voice for generation. Toggle button pressed art and selected as voice for generation.
Alright, so you'll notice the text slightly changed from the word select to selected. So let's explain the difference. Select means, in this case, that I'm selecting the voice and select means that it is not selected, but then selected means that I already have the voice at the ready and I can use it whenever I want. I have two options here. One of the options was art and the other was AWOS, AWOS, because I've cloned two so far, one domain-based voice and another not so domain-based. So let's use, if we can, let us now attempt to hit the letter E for edit.
Generate speech using a voice. Edit multi-line.
Now, I'm going to go back to the top.
Out and create a voice and select as voice art and generate speech button. Generate no next edit field. Generate speech using art blank. Generate speech using art. Edit focus multi-line blank.
Alright.
Actions menu.
Let's go back to
out of generate speech using art. Generate actions menu. Generate speech using art. Edit multi-line blank.
Now, what's nice about the accessibility of this particular app is if you notice the edit box says generate speech using art. So it tells me not only that I am in the edit box to generate the text, but it also lets me know what voice I have already highlighted, which, by the way, was in the two toggle buttons above at the very top. Now, I'm just going to type in a short sample. I'm just going to type in maybe about a 2-sentence sample.
T-A-S-S space question. This is a test for jumping bridge. How are you tonight?
All right. And I assure you, I did spell tonight correctly, but of course...
Question night. You tonight.
That is how Windtalker says tonight. I'm going to hit the tab key.
Generate speech button.
Now, I want you to ignore that button for right now. The first thing what we are going to do is hit the tab key.
Combo box English collapsed open list.
Now, I mentioned the AI being confused if you put the speech in the wrong language when you create the voice. That is, however, different from if you happen to be using a particular TTS model that requires a whole different... So in other words, if you're using and you want the synthesizer to speak another language, you would do that in this field, not in the area that you create the voice in. So this is different from our original box because this is based on what the model supports. Let's actually expand this combo box and let's see what we have. Now when I press down arrow, it's actually going to be a pop-up menu. So I'm going to press a down arrow here.
List, English.
And we have English. Let's go to the top with the home key.
Chinese not selected.
Chinese.
English. Japanese not selected.
Anything not highlighted will be shown as not selected.
Korean not selected. German not selected. French not selected. Russian not selected. Portuguese not selected. Spanish not selected. Italian not selected.
Alright, that's for this particular model. Hit escape. And
combo box English.
Escape a second time. The reason I pressed escape a couple of times is because visually on the page the pop-up menu was expanded also. Now it shows the actual combo box, and if I check to make sure, I'm going to verify that it's on English. So insert tab will give me that.
Combo box English focused collapsed.
Alright, combo box English focused collapsed. I'm going to now press the tab key.
Combo box when 3 TTSONE period 7B collapsed open list.
When 3 TTS. I'm going to press the down arrow.